to our little corroboree. Sometimes I'd like to respectfully acknowledge the Indigenous Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation on whose land we perform today. Welcome to our show, one show to rule them all. We hope you'll enjoy it. We'd just like you to know that our baritone soloist Robert is battling a throat infection, and he will sing, but he's handed over the narrations to me, so if you really need to get your money back over that, see me afterwards. Round the back. Oh, a couple of housekeeping things. Please turn on your mobile phones or put them to mute. And if you need the toilets, out the front door, or the back door, the door over there, and over to the building immediately behind the church, the large building there, through the double glass doors, across the room, through another pair of glass doors, and on your left-hand side. It's signed. And if, when you come out, you wouldn't mind just closing the outer glass door behind you, that would be good. You can stop them and blowing all that mopping stuff around. Once again, thank you for coming and welcome.
He slipped on his magic ring, which makes a person invisible, and suddenly disappeared to everyone's confusion and dismay. Persuaded by Gandalf to leave the ring behind in the care of Frodo, he quietly left Hobbiton that night under a black sky dotted with stars, singing as if to himself. Gandalf returned and told Frodo that Bilbo's ring was the one ring, and the Dark Lord Sauron was looking for it. Once he possessed it, he would be all-powerful, and would enslave the world to his evil mind. Destroying the ring would be the only way to prevent this, and Gandalf persuaded Frodo that, as fate had left him in possession of the ring, he should journey to Orodruin, the Fire Mountain, and cast the ring into the cracks of doom where Sauron had first forged it. With heavy heart, Frodo, together with Sam Gamgee, his loyal gardener, and his young hobbit friends, Pippin Took and Merry Brandybuck, set out on their perilous journey. To keep their spirits up along the way, they sang a song for which Bilbo Baggins had made the words, set to a tune that was as old as the hills.
Upon the Irish land, the fairies of bed, not yet weary of our feet, from the runaway waves. A solitary was standing strong, that none have seen but we alone. Twig and flower and leaf and grass, and pass, hill and water on the sky, pass them by. When the corner there they wait and you walk secretly, and walk me past the light and day. Tomorrow we may come this way, and take the hill past the track, towards the moon or to the sun. At the bottom, not too slow, let them go, sing and sing and roll down, farewell, farewell. Oh, it is the high of the hill, there are many paths to tread, shout to the edge of light until the stars are all alight, and go behind and hold my hand. We'll wander back to home and misty twilight cloud shade, we shall fade, and meet again, and then to bed,
After a while, they heard a sound like mingled song and laughter. Clear voices rose and fell in the starlit air. Elves! Exclaimed Sam in a hoarse whisper. Listen! They are coming this way, said Frodo. We have only to wait.
The singing drew nearer. One clear voice now rose above the others. It was singing in the fair elven tongue, of which Frodo knew only a little, and the others knew nothing. Yet the sound, blending with the melody, seemed to shape itself in their thought into words which they only partly understood. This was the song as Frodo heard it.
Snow White, oh lady clear, oh queen beyond the western seas, all I to us that wandered here, amid the world of woven trees.
The elves encouraged them to continue on to Rivendell and went on their way.
As they passed through the ancient forests of Mirkwood, the four hobbits encountered Tom Bombadil. Tom was older than the forest and was master of wood, water and hill. He lived with a fair lady, Goldberry, daughter of the river. As he took them to his house, he sang,
Not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. From the ashes a fire shall be woken, a light from the shadows shall spring. Renewed shall the blade be that was broken. The crownless again shall be king. Not very good, perhaps, but to the point, if you need more beyond the world of Elrond. If that was worth a journey of 110 days to hear, you'd better listen to it.
He sat down with a snort. Later, Gandalf told how a document he found in the city of Gondor finally confirmed his suspicion that the ring was indeed the One Ring. Upon this very ring, he said, round and unadored, the letters that Isildur reported as being inscribed upon it may still be read, if one has the strength of will to set the golden thing in the fire a while. That I have done, and this have I read. A shadow seemed to pass over the high sun. All who heard these words trembled, and the elves stopped their ears. Said Gandalf, let all put doubt aside that this thing is indeed what the wise have declared, the treasure of the enemy, fraught with all his malice, and in it lies a great part of his strength of old. Out of the black years come the words of the smiths of Eregion heard, and knew that they had been betrayed.
One ring to them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness find them.
9 was chosen to help Frodo take the ring to Mount Doom and destroy it. When it was time to set out, Frodo said goodbye to Bilbo. All I ask in return, Bilbo said, is this. Take as much care of yourself as you can, and bring back all the news you can, and any old songs and tales you can come by. I'll do my best to finish my book before you return. He broke off, and turned to the window again, singing softly.
I sit beside the fire and think of all that I have seen. All meadow flowers and butterflies in summers that
The company was arranged in 3 small boats, and when they were ready, Aragorn led them on a trial up the Silver Road. They turned a sharp bend, and there, sailing proudly down the stream toward them, they saw a swan of great size. A music came down the river as the swan drew nearer, and suddenly they perceived that it was a ship, wrought and carved with elven skill in the likeness of a bird. In the midst of it sat Celeborn, and behind him stood Galadriel, tall and white. A circlet of golden flowers was in her hair, and in her hand she held a harp, and she sang. Sad and sweet was the sound of her voice in the cool, clear air.
Leaves of gold, and
All at last was made ready. The company took their places in the boats, and crying farewell, the elves of Lorien, with long grey poles, thrust them out into the flowing stream, and the rippling waters bore them slowly away. On the green bank, the Lady Galadriel stood alone and silent. As they passed her, they turned, and their eyes watched her slowly floating away from them. Soon the white form of the lady was small and distant. And then it seemed to Frodo that she lifted her arms in a final farewell. And far but piercing on the following wind came the sound of her voice singing. But now she sang in the ancient tongue of the elves beyond the sea, and he did not understand the words. Fair was the music, but it did not comfort him. Yet, as is the way of elvish words, they remained graven in his memory. Swept around the bend, and the banks rose upon either side, and the light of Lorien was hidden. To that fair land, Frodo never came again.
After escaping from a band of orcs, Merry and Pippin fled to the forest of Fangorn. Suddenly they were picked up and found themselves looking at the most extraordinary face. It belonged to a large man-like, almost troll-like figure, at least 14 foot high, very sturdy, with a tall head and hardly any neck. Whether it was clad in stuff like green and grey bark, or whether that was its hide, was difficult to say. At any rate, the arms at a short distance from the trunk were not wrinkled, but covered with a brown, smooth skin. The large feet had 7 toes each. The lower part of the long face was covered with a sweeping grey beard, bushy, almost twiggy at the roots, thin and mossy at the ends. But at that moment, the hobbits noted little but the eyes. These deep eyes were now surveying them, slow and solemn, but very penetrating. They were brown, shot with a green light.
Murmured the voice, a deep voice like a very deep woodwind instrument. Please, said Pippin, who are you? A queer look came into the old eyes, a kind of weariness. The deep wells were covered over. Now, answered the voice. Well, I am an ent, or that's what they call me. Yes, ent is the word. The ent I am, you might say, in your manner of speaking. Fangorn is my name, according to some. Treebeard, others make it. Treebeard will do. Treebeard took them with him, holding one in the crook of each arm, setting off with long, deliberate strides through the trees, deeper and deeper into the wood. Treebeard told them that we are tree herds, we old ents. Few enough of us are left now. Sheep get like shepherds, and shepherds like sheep, it is said. But slowly, and neither have long in the world, it is quicker and closer with trees and ents, and they walk down the ages together. Time was when I could walk and sing all day and hear no more than the echo of my own voice in the hollow hills. The woods were like the woods of Lothlorien, only thicker, stronger, younger. And the smell of the air. I used to spend a week just breathing.
Treebeard fell silent, striding along and yet making hardly a noise with his great feet. Then he began to hum, and passed into a murmuring chant. Gradually, the hobbits became aware that he was singing to them.
I'll stood the pine trees upon the highland of California. They climbed in the winter, the wind and the lace and the black thrushes of winter upon Lord Arthur. My voice went up and sang in the sky. And now, oh, those lands lie under the wave, and I walk in Armagona, in Tarragona, in Artolome, in my homeland, in the country of Fargo, where the roots are long, and the years lie thicker than leaves, in Tarragona alone.
He ended and strode on silently, and in all the woods as far as the ear could reach, there was not a sound. Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas rode on and on towards Medusel. The Hall of Théoden, King of Rohan, in Edoras. They came at last to the land of the Rohirrim, the horse lords, and halted at the grass-covered barrow mounds, where lie the bodies of the riders of the Mark, who perished in the great war against Sauron. Aragorn began to chant in the language of the Rohirrim.
Where now is the horse and the rider? Where is the horn that was blowing? Where is the hand on the harp string and the
In Edoras, the four found King Theoden, son of Thengel, bent with age and under the spell of Grimmer Wormtongue, who for long had counselled despair in the face of the growing evil in the lands round about. After hearing Gandalf speak, Theoden dismissed Wormtongue and left his great hall to see the daylight and breathe the fresh air again. He stood tall and straight and asked for his sword. As his fingers took the hilt, it seemed to the watchers that firmness and strength returned to his thin arm, and swung it shimmering and whistling in the air. Then he gave a great cry. His voice rang clear as he chanted in the tongue of Rohan, a call to arms.
Arise now, arise, let us of Theoden, dark deeds away, dark is it eastward. Let us be brighter, on be sounded. For their lingers, right now, right to come down.
Suddenly, the king cried to Snowman, and the horse sprang away. Behind him his banner blew in the wind, white horse upon a field of green, that heaped outpaced it. After him thundered the knights of his house, but he was ever before them. They, he seemed, for the battle fury of his father's brain had new fire in his veins, and he was born up in snow rain. Even as a hurricane was great in the battle of the land, when the suddenly in the midst of the glory of the king, his golden shield was dimmed. The new morning was blotted from the sky, dark, horses reared and screamed, they clasped the saddle, went grovelling on the ground.
To me, cried Theoden, uphill lingers, fear no darkness. But Snowman, wild with terror, stood up on high, fighting with the air, and then with a great scream he crashed upon his side. A black dart had pierced him. The king fell beneath him.
Then one of the knights took the king's banner from the hand of Guthlath, the banner-bearer, who lay dead, and he lifted it up. Slowly, Theoden opened his eyes. Seeing the banner, he made sign that it should be given to Eomer. "Hail, King of the Mark," he said. "Ride now to victory. Bid Eowyn farewell." And so he died, and knew not that Eowyn lay near him. And those who stood by wept, crying, "Theoden King, Theoden King."
But Eomer said to them, "Mourn not over much. Mighty was the fallen, meet was his ending. When his mound is raised, women then shall weep. War now calls us."
After the battle, the wain of King Theoden passed through the green fields of Rohan and came at last to Edoras. The riders of the king's house, mounted on white horses, rode round about the barrow and sang together a song of Theoden Thengel's son, that Gleowine his minstrel made. and he made no other song after.
Out of dark, to the day's rising, he would sing the song, sword one chasing. Oh, peerly kingdom, and in hope ended, lost out of life unto long
For Snowmain they dug a grave and set up a stone, upon which was carved in the tongues of Gondor and the Mark. Faithful servant, yet master's bane, Lightfoot's foal, swift Snowmain.
After Sam and Frodo, lured by Gollum, had made their painful and dangerous way to Sherrod's lair, where Frodo was stung by the great spider, and Sam had made her flee by stabbing her with his little sword, orcs captured Frodo, while Sam made himself invisible with the ring. The orcs took Frodo to the tower of Cirith Ungol, where Sam hunted for him, while orcs fought amongst themselves all around, and finally fled from the tower. Left alone, weary and feeling finally defeated, Sam sat on a step below the level of the passage floor and bowed his head into his hands. It was quiet, horribly quiet, but the only torch in the passage sputtered and went out, leaving the darkness to cover him like a tide.
And then, softly, to his own surprise, there at the vain end of his long journey and his grief, moved by what thought in his heart he could not tell, Sam began to sing. His voice sounded thin and quavering in the cold, dark tower as he sang old childish tunes out of the Shire and snatches of Mr. Bilbo's rhymes that came to him. Then suddenly, new strength rose in him, and his voice rang out while words of his own came unbidden to fit the simple tune.
In western lands beneath the sun, the flowers may rise in spring, the trees may nod, the waters from the meadows evenings sing. All men may meet his cloudless light and sway in nature's prayer.
answering him. But an orc came to investigate and put a ladder up to a trapdoor in the passage rear. Sam followed the orc, attacked him and drove him through the trapdoor, whence he fell to his death on the floor beneath. Then Sam saw Frodo, lying naked on the floor, on a heap of filthy rags. Running to him, he saw that apart from a whipwheel, he was uninjured. Sam returned to the ring to Frodo, and then set about finding their way to escape and continue on their faithful and hopeless journey to Mount Doom.
What became then and how the battle that overthrew Sauron transpired we cannot go into here. It's enough to say that, with the casting of the ring into the cracks of Doom, with the unexpected intervention of God and his passing with the ring into the fire, the demise of Sauron was assured. Peace came, and the task of healing and renewal began. After a period spent in the fragrance of fair Ithilien, it was time for everyone to go home. Legolas, looking southward, sang.
Silver flow the streams from Sells to Eruin. In the green fields of Lebanon, tall grows the grassland. In the wind from the sea, the white lilies sway. And the golden bells are shaken of Melos and Alpharine. In the green fields of Lebanon, in the wind from the sea.
Eventually, all the elves will return to the sea and leave Middle-earth. Gimli returned to his folk in the north, and Aragorn and Arwen lived and ruled the land of Gondor in peace and harmony. The hobbits returned to Rivendell to see Bilbo, to tell him of their adventures, and eventually returned to the Shire.
On the evening before the hobbits left Rivendell, Bilbo said to them, "The fire is very cosy here, and the food is very good, and there are elves when you want them. What more could one want?" He sang quietly to himself.
The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road is long, let us follow it together. Let them a journey new begin, but I at last will return towards the lighted king. My evening rest and sleep tonight.
And as Bilbo murmured the last words, his head dropped on his chest, and he slept soundly.
Thank you for coming in. This was great. Robert Cora. Martin Fitzgerald. Luke Hopkins. Nicholas Law. Luke Miller. And Andrew Freed.
Special thank yous to everybody really, but an additional special thank you to Marg. Where are you, Marg? Here she is. Marg's been such a wonderful backstop to me in all the music that I play and do, and this is the first show that of mine that I've ever put together. So this, in many ways, well, the other night was the world premiere, not only of this show, but of most of the music in it. Some of it composed by Matty, some of it composed by Nicola. Matty has done, in addition, a tremendous job of making much more musical sense of my original transcriptions of the piano parts to Donald Swann's songs. And I thank Matty very much for that. He's a wonderful musician, and please give him a special hand. Now, we'd like to offer you some refreshments. We have some of Marg's home-cooked carrot cakes and some of her raspberry slice, and we have some bottles of Took's Pale Ale from the Hobbit and Brewery, and a bottle of sparkling bubbly special from the Brandy Buck Winery. So please join us for some refreshments, and thank you for coming. Talk to the musicians about what they've been doing, stuff they've been writing, all that stuff. They would love to hear from you.